Hey, good morning, crew. Happy Tuesday. First thing first. Every time I say first things first, I think about, I forget that song, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But first things first, if you haven't watched my last vlog, be sure to go ahead and watch it. I'll put the link up somewhere, put the pop card up here. And it's also down in the description box. Make sure you watch my vlog, man. I passed my first test, and now I'm on my way to take my second test, but really it's my first test for Med-Surg. I feel great today. I feel great. I got lots of sleep. I did some studying. I listened to my professor as I slept, which, you know, actually works for me. You know, she recorded a lecture, and I played it. It just gets my mind prepared for this exam, and it gets me thinking about all these different clinical manifestations of these different disease processes. I love it. How are you guys doing? What's going on? I'm driving, and I am going to get here pretty quickly. I hate when people are turning and they are like, oh my God, should I turn? You know, like, just make the damn turn. You have the right of way. You know what I mean? The right turn has the right of way. That's how I've always learned it. But it's people who's supposed to be turning right and you're turning left, and they're just sitting there like, go. No, I don't want your courtesy. Just go. That's how accidents happen. And I don't play about accidents. You know? Just go. Shit. But I am feeling great today. It is going to be another wonderful day. I'm ready to get this test over with because y'all know my philosophy. If I don't know how the teacher tests, it's hard for me to. Now, granted, we've had this professor before, but the wrench in the plan is we had a guest professor for cardiovascular. So she will put her own questions in, and that's where the variable comes in, because I don't know how she's going to ask her questions. And if her questions are anything like her lecture, they're not going to be easy. She is an amazing teacher. I mean, I had an amazing time listening to her. But I will say that the material was just a lot of material. But I guess that's to be expected with cardiovascular anyway. So, you know, I do have to do my notes, my document. I have to document the chart my patient from Friday. That's not due till Thursday. So when I get off, I'll go home, clean up, and I guess I will start on that today because I don't want to save it to Wednesday. I don't want to save it for Wednesday. I want to do it tomorrow. So I'll do it tomorrow, and now I'm getting ready for another exam, mental health. It's like exam. Every other week, there's an exam. I don't know how I feel about that. I would like to learn some content before I have to test, you know? And then the proper thing to do would be read your materials before coming to class. That's like the proper thing to do. But can I be honest? With this Med-Surg exam, and it's covering like 2 of the 3 things are like huge subjects. So respiratory and cardiovascular, in my opinion, are the biggest things, you know? Integumentary is big, but integumentary is, you know, it's integumentary. So I don't think that is going to necessarily be an issue. But cardiovascular and respiratory are just two different beasts. Listen, I told y'all last week, cardiovascular was broken up into two different PowerPoints. That's how big it was. So, you know, just to give you an idea. But I'm not going to keep y'all. As y'all know, before the test, I like to jam out. I don't know what I'm going to play. I'm curious. I am curious. What can I listen to? Any suggestion? Well, your suggestions really aren't going to do me good right now because I'm going to be playing music as soon as I end this video. But, you know, what do y'all listen to? What do y'all do? Give me some pre-test tips. What do y'all do to just get ready for a test? And when I say get ready for a test, I am not talking about studying. I'm not talking about how you review your material. We'll save that for another video. But I am purely talking about how do you psych yourself up. I mean, you know, I do pray. There is one of my classmates, and she's actually she's a member of the crew, actually. We pray. We prayed before the dosage calculation exam, and that just set me, like, literally every bit of anxiety, I breathe it out. I do some deep cleansing breaths in front of the computer station. I always do that. So I'm trying to, I want to get over. I always do some deep cleansing breaths, and that always seems to calm me because my heart is always pounding, my stomach's always turning, and it does it all the way until I'm done with the test. So, you know, but what do you all do to just psych yourself up for the exam? I like music. I pray. I don't review because that makes me nervous. Although I think for this test I may need to review something, but I'm not going to. But, you know, we'll see. I just need to pass, and I need cushion. So 87.5. You know, believe with this professor, I used to get an 87.5 every test. Every test, 87.5. Exactly 87.5. So if I can get an 87.5, that would be great. But, you know, 75 is passing, so anything. And then, you know, you don't want to fail your first test. I'm actually pretty good at taking tests, but you just never know. So I'm going to end this video. I'm going to listen to some music. I'll say a prayer once I park because, you know, I don't want to be thrown into the spirit, you know? And I'll holler at y'all later. I'll let y'all know my grade if I get a grade today, which knowing me and knowing how my professor grades, she probably won't have it until Friday, which is fine. So I'll holler at y'all in a few. Hey, what's up? Good morning, crew. Man, the last 48 hours has been the most nerve-wracking, most emotional, most just everything, man. Let me catch y'all up to speed. So I was going to vlog once I got my grade back from my test. Remember, I took my not mental health, Med-Surg, my first Med-Surg test. I took it on Tuesday, and I figured I would, normally with tests we get grades back, I don't want to say pretty quickly, but, you know, fairly quick. So when I say fairly quick, like either that evening or even the next day. And I was gonna vlog my reaction, but after I took the test, I felt so bad. It was not a fun test. Med-Surg is not a fun class. The information is cool, but the exams are beastly. Beastly. So let me just take y'all through my experience because I had highs and lows, just feeling, you know. So we took the test, and as I'm sitting there going through the different answers on the test, you know, I'm realizing, like, I don't think I put this, and I don't think I put this, and I don't think I put this. And this information is a little different than mental health because mental health is a little more, you know, it's subjective information, you know? Med-Surg isn't. The nursing process and priority generally is what it is, you know? And I was just having the most difficult time. I would do test question number 1, and I'm like, oh, what? And I studied, you know what I mean? I studied my behind off. And I looked at the exam, and there's 40 questions. You look at one question at a time, and then you go to the next question. You can't go back. And once you answer that question, it is what it is. So I'm sitting there, and I'm going through questions, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Then this select all that applies. Oh my God, there were so many select all that apply. Oh, Jesus. Man. So I finished the test, and I did not feel like I passed. I just knew I didn't pass. And it was a different feeling, you know. It wasn't typical test anxiety, and I think I've talked about that I have developed some type of test anxiety due to nursing school because just the material is not black and white. You know, there's so much gray area when it comes to these test questions. So I didn't think that I did well. And this wasn't like general test anxiety. This was, I thought I failed, and no one can tell me anything different. You know? So I kind of went through a grieving process where, you know, when you are anger and you're bargaining and denial, and I finally accepted the fact late, was it Tuesday? Late Tuesday, I finally accepted the fact that I failed. Just because, and it's not like I just was thinking low of myself. I didn't think low of myself. I actually thought I studied pretty well. I had a good grasp of the material. But I spent too much time focusing on the pathophysiology of it, and not so much of the nursing aspect of it. And I think that's where the test was rooted in. Fortunately, I am a pretty good test taker. So I thought that would save me, but like I said, sitting there answering those questions gave me just a different perspective. So I'm on my way to lab. If you all didn't know, it's Thursday. But so yesterday, Wednesday, I'm at work, and I'm like, oh, I'm talking to my coworkers, and they're like, oh, no, you always say you fail. I said, no, I've never said I failed. I may say I don't think I did as well, but I never just say that I just failed the test, you know? I felt like I failed the test. So I'm like, oh my God, just put me out of my misery. I'm kind of happy that the professor hasn't given the grades back yet, because that just means that she is really reviewing the exam. So I'm not one to rush, I want it back just so I can know, but that's not enough reason for me to have the professor, rush the test back, because if she rushes the test back, that means, there's not any corrections, or it's as is pretty much. So, I went through my work day, thinking about the test some, but I didn't really check. I didn't check actually at all online. I was going to wait for my classmates to check, and so I was waiting for them to check for me, as far as check when the grades were posted. Finally, our professor sent the email out at around 7:30, and she said the grades were up. So the moment of truth. So I went in, I looked, and guys, I passed. Oh my God. Now, was this a grade that I necessarily wanted? No, it was not a grade that I wanted. Am I upset with the grade? Absolutely not. Because I passed. I passed my first Med-Surg exam. So I am happy that at least my countless hours of studying actually paid off. You know what I mean? I feel like this is like, it kind of feels like a final exam. You do all this studying, and then you get a grade and you're like, oh, well, at least I passed, That's how I feel. I passed. I got it was a decent grade. In my program, you have to have a 75 or better. So just know it's higher than a 75. I now know, though, how these tests, I don't want to say how they're structured, but I know how they are worded, because they're different than they were with the Med-Surg. With foundations. The questions, they ask different types of questions, and they ask different information. They ask it a little differently, a little more scholarly, if you would say. So the fact that I now have one test under my belt, and I have a good grasp as to how it looks and how it will kind of feel, I am confident that I will do much better the second time around. The second time around, I don't feel defeated at all. I feel triumphant, and I am so happy. And let me tell you something. Had I failed, I just would have took it on the chin, because I know that I studied. I would have took it on the chin. I know that I studied my behind off, and I know that if I didn't do well, it really was not anything to do with anything but just me needing to know the style of the test. So because I did pass and I did do well, I'm good. But had I not did well, I still would have been good. It just was a big weight lifted off of my shoulder and off of my chest. So I'm on my way to class, lab. We're doing trait care today. We have checkoffs on, not suture, I don't know what I'm talking about. We have checkoffs next week on trait care and what's that other thing? Trait care and Foley catheter. Next week we're gonna do that, and yeah, I'll holler at y'all later. This kind of went kind of long, but I just wanted to let subscribe to the channel. Bye.